All right, so recently we got some new news on Monster Hunter Wilds. We have a developer's interview that was exclusively at TGS. All right, so I'm gonna kind of go into this and dive a little bit deep on this article and kind of basically go over what they're saying, asking, and answering in this video here. So the first question that they pretty much ask is start with optimization. Okay, now when Monster Hunter Wilds optimization first came out and they posted it, people were a little bit concerned about you know, the specs that you would probably need to run it at 1080p 60 fps with frame generation on. And so here they're basically saying you know, they're asking about optimization, and you know, they're pretty much saying, you know, they're spending these last 6 months to just basically try to, you know, iron out the issues and try to have it as polished as possible, you know, for when the game comes out. So you know, they're working on it. Hopefully it's not, I'm hoping it's not going to be like World when that came out on PC. I heard I was on PlayStation at the time, so I heard that was kind of a little bit of a train wreck, and it took a little while for it to kind of get back on its feet and whatnot. So it's good to hear that, you know, they're spending a good 6 months. That's a lot of time, you know, to be able to kind of polish that. And so the second question that's asked here is about cross save and cross progression. So are you going to be able to save your game and send that save to, you know, let's say a PC or Xbox or PlayStation or, you know, what have you? At the moment, they're saying that they are unfortunately not able to do cross save or cross purchases or anything like that. We are gonna have crossplay, which is very nice to hear, but you know, it's not really a deal breaker for me for crossplay. I mean, excuse me, cross save. It's really not that bad for me. It would be nice to have, but I understand it's a little bit difficult to kind of integrate that into the system. So it you know, it is what it is. And then the third question here is Monster Hunter Wilds looks like a world bigger and better. So the philosophy behind it. So here they're basically saying that they're trying to keep the DNA, you know, the origin of Monster Hunter unchanged, and they're simply just trying to add on to what was already working, you know, what was good and what made Monster Hunter the way it is in the past and how it's been, you know, for a while now. It's, you know, they're adding a lot of new things here. They're making it a lot more free roam and seamless. So it's really just a lot different, and they're really building up on the blocks that they've already set and the foundation that they've had in the past. So that's really nice to hear. The ecosystem's a lot more lively, and you know, it's just a lot more fine-tuned than it was before. So the next thing here is the choice to allow you to equip 2 weapons and change them at any time, part of this philosophy. Here they're basically saying, you know, they want you to be able to change on the fly, adapt whenever you'd like to, unlike past titles where, you know, you finish a quest, you got to go back to camp and, you know, probably change up all your equipment and all that. They want to make it so that you can just basically stay in the world and, you know, be able to do whatever you'd like with your builds and change it on the fly and whatnot, and, you know, adapt to the situations and all that calls for it, which is really nice. You know, you can just kind of go, you don't have to go all the way back to camp and, you know, have to prepare everything all over again, and, you know, just having to wait for that loading screen, which was abysmal on PS4 back then with World. By the way, that shit took forever, but they did speed it up with the newer PS5 and PC as well. But you know, it's nice to be able to not have to have those loading screens be in the way and just be able to, you know, have it more, you know, just more realistic and being able to change on the fly. And so the next question here that everyone's asking is, how is it gonna work with builds, right? So if you're changing from a greatsword build to a light bow gun, how are you gonna be able to keep your skills? How is all gonna work and whatnot? And how are we going to be able to have decorations stay and, you know, not be changed around or missing if you switch your weapons and everything like that? So they're basically saying that what they've done this time around is the decoration system is basically being overhauled and changed to a sense to be more flexible and customizable, and you know, to different loadouts So they're saying here that the first important thing is that the skills related to the attack, like offensive skills and whatnot, are going to be moved from the pieces of armor to the weapon itself. So whenever you change your weapon, you're going to be able to change your skills with it as well, and so that you're ready to, so your attack ready. So your offensive skills are going to be, assigned to your weapon, and it's not going to be blocked by like what equipped armor you have, or if whether you changed your weapon or not. So they're completely overhauling the way that decorations work, and that's very good to hear, because people were a little concerned about that. And with the next question here, they're saying is, with how hunting works now and how everything's kind of seamless and whatnot, how are you going to be able to time your hunts the way that speedrunners do, right? So people are wondering if everything's just kind of, you meet a hunter, you meet a monster, and the hunt starts right then and there, but there's no timer, because it's a little more open world now. I wouldn't say it's open world. I don't know if it's open world completely or not yet. They've come to the solution that if you'd like to have timed quests and whatnot with statistics and everything like that, you can pretty much do that. They're gonna have like a ready start sort of system where you can have a quest board, post a quest, and do it the old-fashioned way. You're gonna have a timer, like all the good stuff, so speedrunning is not dead. So that's the good thing. The other question is, can we then compare the open maps to the guiding lands of the Monster Hunter World Iceborne game? So an ecosystem that's constantly changing, right? And they're basically saying here that you're able to change the time of day, the weather conditions and whatnot. So if you like post a quest, you're able to change it from whether it's going to be rainy and dark out, or if it's going to be sunny and bright out, for certain monsters to come out, or certain things to happen, and whatever you kind of fancy at the moment. So that's really cool to see as well, that you're going to be able to do that. And then another question here, this is perhaps a silly question, but now that the world and cities have changed so much, what will happen to those nice relaxing moments that we used to have to spend with friends? Like, where's the hub at? What are we gonna do if we're just trying to chill somewhere? And here they're basically saying, in the game you're gonna have 16 players, online lobbies, and you're gonna be able to have a base camp where everybody's gonna be able to chill and relax that's gonna be integrated into the open world. So you're still gonna be able to have your chill times with your homies and whatnot. So that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Which is really nice to hear. It's always nice to have somewhere to just kind of sit back and relax and chill. The other question they have here is about a new weapon. When are we getting a new weapon? Are we getting a new weapon? What's going on with that? People want a new weapon really bad, since we didn't get one world, and we've kind of been getting one for each Monster Hunter game so far. So people are just kind of wondering about that, and they're basically saying here, while they have been coming out with a lot of ideas as to what kind of new weapon they want to integrate in the system, unfortunately, well, I wouldn't even say unfortunately, I think this is a smart move off of their part, because they're basically taking the foundation off of what they've got with the 14 existing weapons, and they're trying to develop them and polish them so that they're pretty much like what they're set to be as, and perfected. We've seen a lot of changes with the weapons in the older games, and with Rise and Sunbreak, like Hunting Horn was changed significantly, and now it's changed again for Wilds, and same thing with Charge Blade. Charge Blade has been changed a lot, from broken to nerfed to more of a balanced sort of deal now. So I think it's smart. They should probably focus on what they've got now, and they can still brainstorm what they've got going on. And you got to understand and remember that making a new weapon is just a lot. It's very time consuming. They're probably on a lot of time constraints right now with how big this game is. So adding a whole new weapon would probably be it's a very big deal. So I understand why they're taking this approach, and they're still thinking about it and figuring it out. So it's not like they're just gonna forget about it. They're constantly doing their best, it seems, to try to have a new weapon kind of be integrated and not be too similar to any of the other weapons, because when they bring out these new weapons, they're very, very unique. Insect Glaive and Charge Blade, very unique playstyles, very unique weapons. So they have to do that all over again, and it takes a lot of time to figure stuff like that out, especially implementing it into the game with balancing and all that. It's very difficult, and I'm pretty sure they're very time constrained, so I'm not surprised that it might take a while. Okay, so the last question that they have here is, a lot of the weapons have a lot of new moves, and you know, there's a lot more moves you're able to cancel out of. You know, a helm breaker, you can cancel that. You know, some of these weapons, they have these ultimate attacks that you're able to cancel if you need to. And you know, they're basically saying they want to make it so that the hunter can adapt to any sort of situation or counter, you know, a situation whenever possible. And the biggest debate about this is that a lot of people do like the fact that Monster Hunter is very commitment heavy when it comes to the bigger attacks, which is fine. I understand that. I do like being able to have, you know, a more commitment sort of realistic approach to the game, but at the same time, I do have some times where, especially online, well, pretty much only online with other hunters, it can make it a little bit more frustrating if you're trying to hit your ultimate attack and then somebody else comes in with the same thing, and you know, the monster flinches like 10 feet to the right, 20 feet to the right, and you know, you kind of miss on that. I understand. So I would say I kind of understand why and where they're coming from when it comes to this, because you know, anything, especially when it comes to how chaotic it can be with 4 players at the same time, you don't want to just get bummed out because you didn't hit your ultimate attack because some other hunter hit theirs, and then you know, it just kind of makes it a lot easier for newcomers especially, and you know, for more people as well to be able to play the game and not get frustrated with little things like that. And honestly, I think it's a really nice little quality of life change that they're adding to it, to be honest. And it seems like, you know, they still have more commitment focused moves, but you know, they're just kind of refining it a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that they've covered in the article. I like everything that they're going with so far, and I'm just very excited to be blown away by when this game comes out. So I gotta say, that's it for me, and I'll see you later.